All right, now students, what I want to do is I want to take the code that I sent out to you yesterday or the day before, and I want to show you how to use a debugger. And I'm just going to give you a quick exercise in it. There are plenty of videos, links to videos that I've sent you for several different IDEs. All of them pretty much work the same way. As I explained earlier, I got students that are using, I got 175 students, and probably 20 of them are using different IDEs. So it's hard for me to create a video on each one. You got to kind of be on your own to do that, but it's very, very important you go out and you look at debugging videos so you know how to debug your code, and it's actually part of this course, understanding it. So I'm going to go back to our simple interest calculator that we had earlier, and I've already set a couple breakpoints here. What a breakpoint is that's where the code will actually stop. So I'm just going to set a couple of them and show you some of the quirks behind the different debugging. Again, they all pretty much work the same way, but there are a couple quirks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build this program and then I'm going to run it. But what I do want to show you here is I got a couple different options in what I can do. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the start and continue. So let me do that. I'm going to rebuild it just in case I got some weird stuff floating around out there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the debugger. All right, over here you'll see some watches that'll pop up. I'll explain watches in a couple minutes. That's only because I have some data sitting in there already. So now this would be the actual screen that comes up for our console application that we made, and I'm going to type in 1,000, and then I'm going to hit enter. All right, so when you see this arrow right here, what that means is that that's where the code stops. So the breakpoint will actually stop at the beginning of the line that we're on. So I've been able to enter my principal amount, which was $1,000. And then now what I need to do is I need to enter my rate of interest. And if you recall, I told you earlier that we got to do that in decimal format. So I'm going to go with 12%. Now, if you just notice there, I assure you to typed in 12%, but we got a little thing that happened here, and I want to explain that to you. So I have to go back to my ID. It didn't show up. And what has taken place is I've typed in 0.12 for 12%, but because I have a breakpoint established here, it's grabbed that and it's holding it in memory, but nothing has happened with that yet. So what I need to do is I need to come up here and I need to hit the debug and continue. All right, now what we do when we go back to our application, our actual console app, that 0.12 is still sitting there, but I have not hit enter yet. So I need to do that inside my application. So I'm going to hit 0.12. And then now I'm going to come back here. Now, the program has stopped at input the term of the loan in days. I don't have a breakpoint set there. That would be a normal response from this particular console application. So it's waiting for me to put something in there. I'm going to type 365. And I'm going to hit enter. Okay, now I've stopped down here at this breakpoint. Again, we're at line 18, but we haven't actually made anything happen yet. So let's go back to our page here. Nothing's happened. You can see that. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hit the red thing again, this red debug continue. And then now if we come back to our console application, you'll see that it went ahead and it calculated it. So the money of interest was 120. Now what's interesting and what's important to you guys is if you look over here, all of the constants and all of the variables that we put in show up in this box. So this is a great way to watch your variables change, and especially in loops. If let's say that one of these was a loop, if I would have set a breakpoint there, I could have, and this was a loop, I can watch my incrementers, like x plus 1 equals x, or x plus plus. That's great because it allows it to increment, and I can see what the value of it is each time I increment. So that's kind of the basics on a debugger. And then when you're done, if you can just close all these out. So that's a great way to debug and see where you are in your program, especially if you're a beginner programmer. You can see exactly where you are, and this is where it's important where your design tool comes into play too, because you can see is my code written the exact way that my design tool was. Hopefully that'll help you out a little bit. Again, I've sent out many links to other people's various debuggers, and they're all pretty much the same. They all operate the same way. Hopefully that'll help you a little bit. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.